James Hoy talking to R.A. Dickey. I believe it's an issue with his glove, and I wonder whether this was brought up by the umpires directly or whether this was a little gamesmanship on the part of Dusty Baker.
Well, if it's brought up from Dusty, forget about it. I mean, I don't think that's great, but it's really looks like it's a wristband or something, is it? Oh no, he gave him the scissors to cut off the ends of the strings. Yeah. I mean, the umpires usually do not call that unless a manager approaches them about it or a player does. Terry's saying he's been pitching all year with this thing. So to me, it seems like it's more umpire driven because he's arguing with the umpires. Can't have your strings hanging too low, but it happens all the time. Perfect games. You see the umpire talking to R.A., of course, and they're trying to get that straight about the wrist thing that he had to cut off.
Well, the discussions are continuing between R.A. Dickey and this umpiring crew after they made him cut a bracelet off his wrist before the start of the second inning. There was more discussion when Dickey came to bat in the top of the third, and now Dickey in heated conversation with Jim Joyce, and Terry Collins just came out to take up the discussion. Jim Joyce is the crew chief of this unit.
It's almost like James Hoy came up to R.A. R.A., the home plate umpire, that is at bat, and he did not want to hear it. And Jim Joyce now coming in between his younger umpire, and he's the crew chief, and he wants to explain to R.A. what's going on, and R.A. really doesn't want to hear it.
Well, this can't be anything but a distraction for Dickey, regardless of you know who's instigating the continuing conversation here. If you're a pitcher, this is the last thing that you need.
And for something had to be said between Hoy and R.A. Dickey for Joyce to come in here. But now they've turned it into a fiasco.
I might also mention, remember the relief appearance that Dickey made when right before the All-Star break? This crew was there for that relief appearance. In fact, James Hoy was behind the plate. Now, he was wearing that bracelet then, and I'm not quite understanding why this crew took it upon themselves to deal with that in a way that no other crew has this year.
When you're having the kind of year that R.A. Dickey is having, you bring a spotlight on you, you're pitching in a lot of games on TV, all it takes is one person back in the office to notice that, notify the umpires, they get a letter before the game happens, and they make them cut it off.
But if that were true, why didn't they approach him before the game began? Why did they wait till the second inning? I mean, none of it really makes a whole lot of sense when you think about it. And I go back to the fact that I understand that the letter of the law says you can't wear anything, any jewelry. But that is, first of all, it's on his glove hand. And second of all, it was a color very similar to his glove. So it's not distracting at all to the hitter, is it?
No, absolutely not. And R.A. probably picked that color to make sure it wouldn't have to be discarded. This was just, you know, in my mind. Now, R.A. might have escalated this, but in my mind, it's kind of a simple power play.
It's a bit of a fiasco is what it is, and now you hope that R.A. can settle back in, get his mind straight as he faces Zach Cozart for the third.